It was a thoughtful gesture on her part, but further proof my nap was over. I untangled myself from the blood drip as best I could and rested against my bamboo headboard while I waited for the transfusion to finish. It should take the edge off any lingering hunger, which might help my irritability over the current situation. Somehow, I doubted it. Now fully awake, I turned my attention to the turquoise waters lapping against the house. Not that it was a house, exactly. My private residence took up an entire island near Key West, but was technically in international waters. So, unlike the Keys, the island was outside the reach of any government. It was an intentional choice, as well as my way of sending a message to everyone I knew. Leave me the fuck alone. I'd made the island my sanctuary. I had built my bedroom to jut out over the water, 3 walls surrounded by nothing but the ocean's vast, unending blue. The rest of the island was as large as a fully functioning resort, and a dedicated group of vampires and humans, all subject to my approval, lived on the 300 acres for most of the year, vacating only for hurricane season. It was relaxing here, a luxury I suspected I should enjoy while I could. Celia had to have a damn good reason for waking me up. Anything happen while I was out? I tried to sound casual, hoping she would finally reveal something. Celia cleared her throat.
A fair amount. I have a dossier for you of major events, the last 4 presidents and various heads of state, and this morning's paper.
She must have decided I was no longer a bite risk, because she placed the silver tray heaped with papers next to me in bed. She turned to inspect the blood bag feeding into my arm.
This is almost empty. Should I get another one?
I shook my head. The older I got, the less blood I needed after waking. Picking up the Wall Street Journal, I skimmed the headlines. My lips turned down with each bit of news. I quickly moved on to the dossier, which proved to be even more depressing. How did that moron get elected? I flipped the page. Or that one? I dropped the papers on the bed. The 80s had been a shit circus. Too much hair. Too many shoulder pads and way too much cocaine. It had suited my siblings just fine, along with plenty of other vampires, but I'd needed a break. From the parties, from my family, from everything. I'd meant it when I'd told Celia to let me desiccate in my master suite until the apocalypse was at hand. I'm not sure why she thought I was joking about that. I stretched my now ivy-less arms over my head, then pushed free of the sheets. I preferred to sleep in the nude, which now gave me a chance to see the blood drip had already done its job. I ran my palm over my stomach. The hard slab was as stacked and defined as it had been when I'd retired. Flexing my toes, I found my quads and calves had already regained their considerable muscle mass. There was no hint that I'd been sleeping for the better part of 4 decades, except maybe for the lingering erection inspired by my dreams. I'd been chasing a woman. It was the only dream I remembered having. I never caught her. The result was blue balls that had lasted decades, and a hard-on that was as annoying as it was painful. If Celia noticed, she didn't comment. She was good that way. It was another mark in her favor. So, about my undesirable awakening, I dredged up my most charming smile. It hung crookedly on my lips from lack of use.
Your mother has summoned you home,
she said, averting her gaze and pointedly ignoring the sour change to my expression.
I've arranged the jet, but I should...
Before she could finish the statement or explain what my mother needed with her eldest son, the door to my room swung open on its hinges. A familiar figure stood in the doorway, grinning wickedly, and giving no sign decades had passed since we last saw each other. Julian Rousseaux was my brother. Not by birth, but by blood. While I had been conceived, our parents had turned him together, each using their blood in the process. It left us as far apart physically as we were in temperament. My muscular build took after our father, a byproduct of the line of ancient warriors he descended from, but Sebastian was lean and wiry. The last time I had seen him, he had bleached, spiky hair. He'd been leaning into the punk rock scene. Sebastian had adored every depraved moment of the 80s. Humans prone to excess were easy to manipulate, and vampires, who, as...